Hey everybody, it's me, Joe, and I want to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the word work. Now, the word work isn't that difficult to understand. The problem is it goes with many different prepositions. Okay? It can be seen with work for, work at, work in, work from. So those prepositions make it a very tricky word to use sometimes. Hard to use and sometimes hard to understand. So in this video, I'm going to help you out. Okay? I'm going to show you a sentence with a blank in it. You can try and guess what you think might go in there. Then I'll tell you the answer and I'll explain the answer to you. All right? At the end of the video, I'm going to give you a mini test of 3 sentences to see if you can remember what you learned. Okay? Let's get going. All right. First of all, imagine that we start with a sentence that begins, Joe works. Okay? Then there's going to be a blank, and then there's going to be a sentence ending. You try to guess what goes in the blank, and then I'll tell you. So here we go. Joe works. Number 1. The ESL department of St. Mary's University. Can you guess what goes in there? Now this one could be a variety. It could be Joe works in, Joe works at, or Joe works for. They're all possible. Okay? I just put in first because it's the one I would use most commonly, but they're all correct in this situation. All right? And when you're talking about a department that you work in, he works in the ESL department. He works in the IT division. Something like that is totally how we do it. All right? Now, it seems like we just got started, but I want to give you a secret code. What these are little things that I put in videos for you to send to me on Instagram, a direct message on Instagram at Teacher Joe Crossman, to let me know that you found the secret codes, and then I can help you more. All right, I can give you a little bit more help than just the video. So the first secret code is Joe works at a university. Okay, send that to me in a direct message on Instagram, and I'll know you made it at least this far, but don't stop. Let's keep going. All right, so the next sentence is Joe works a spy for the Canadian government. Whoa. Can you guess? The word that should go in there is as. Joe works as a spy. Now, this is not true. At least, I don't think it's true. But when you say Joe works as, then the next word should be your job, or you describe your position. Joe works as a teacher. Joe works as a pilot. Joe works as a drug dealer. No, just a joke. All right, let's move on to the next one. Here we go. Joe works 9 to 3. He is so lucky that I hate him. What do you think goes in that blank? And the answer is from. Joe works from 9 to 3. We say from the start time until the end time. You could also say from Monday to Friday. Okay? When you talk about how long your work week is. So from, that's common. Let's keep going. The next one. Joe works a laptop. Can you guess what that one is? And this one's a multiple. You could say Joe works on a laptop, Joe works from a laptop, Joe works with a laptop. They're all fine. On is probably the most common. Works on a laptop, it means one thing. Working on means you're fixing it, right? A lot of times we say you're working on a project, okay? because works on a project means forever, okay? But working on a project, maybe it's going to take a month, but then you'll have another project, okay? So works on a laptop, working on a project. Most common way to say those. Let's keep going here for the next one. Joe works home because of the pandemic. Can you guess what word goes in there? It should be Joe works from home because of the pandemic, or you could say Joe works at home. Okay? From is more common though. When you say he works from home, it means there is a company, there is an office somewhere else, but he's not working there today. He works from home. Right now because of the pandemic, but some jobs, they're a little bit more flexible. You can work at the office or you can work at home. Okay? Work from home. Sometimes when you say you work at home, that could mean it's your company. Okay? There is no office, or your office is actually in your house. So you work at home. Okay? But from home is more common nowadays. All right? Let's keep going. The next one is Joe works the Toronto branch. Can you guess what goes there? The preposition should be out of. Joe works out of the Toronto branch. So imagine if I was a salesperson and I traveled perhaps all over Canada, but my home base is a branch of the company, an office of the company in Toronto. So I work out of there, meaning that's where I call my boss, that's where my paycheck comes from. I work out of the Toronto branch. There could be other branches in other cities. Okay? You can also say Joe works out of his home. Joe works out of the Toronto office. All similar forms, okay? Now you've made it this far, and that's really fantastic. You are doing great. I want you to keep on going. The second secret code is Joe is not a drug dealer, okay? So don't tell anybody that I am, because I'm not. Now send that to me in a direct message on Instagram. Let's keep going. We're not finished because work has a lot of different prepositions. Here's the next one. Joe works Mondays and Wednesdays. What word goes in there? On. We use on Mondays and Wednesdays. Joe works on Mondays and Wednesdays. You could change it to Joe works on Monday and Wednesday, but that might mean only this week. If you say it in plural, Joe works on Mondays and Wednesdays, it means every week. Okay? All right? You could also say Joe works every Monday and Wednesday. That's another way to say it. Let's keep going. All right, here's about companies. Joe works Google, but he wants to quit. Okay? So, can you guess? Here's where we use either for or at. The very similar meaning, but there is a slight difference. If you say for Google, Joe works for Google, we all know that Google is a huge company, they're all around the world. So maybe you're not saying at any particular office or city that he's working in. He just works for that company. Okay? All right? If you say Joe works at and then a company name, it's kind of like maybe a famous company that's in your city and everybody knows where it is. Okay? Joe works at the Irving gas station downtown. Okay? We use that way. It could be both ways. You'll hear it both ways, but that's the difference that I'm telling you. So Joe works for a company. Those are the people that pay him. We're not talking about location. You can also say Joe works for Mr. Smith. So a person. Maybe Mr. Smith owns something. Okay, let's keep going. How about this? Joe works the 5th floor. And for this one, we have to say on. You're on a floor. Joe works on the 5th floor. So an office building has many floors. I don't work on the 6th. I don't work on the 4th. I work on the 5th. Nice. Next one. Joe works Susan, but he really hates her. Okay? So the preposition there should be Joe works with Susan, but he really hates her. All right? So we say with a person, with many people, with lots of people from Russia. Okay? With. All right? We got a few more. How about this one? Joe works a factory that makes rubber toys for dogs. What do you think? That one should be, you could say in or at. Okay? In a factory or at a factory. But when we want to say in, you can say it with other things. Joe works in Toronto. Joe works in Canada. Joe works in an office. Joe works in a store. Okay? We got 2 more before our test. Joe works 5 o'clock. The answer here is until. Joe works until 5 o'clock. Joe works until quitting time. Joe works until midnight. Joe works until the boss says he can go home. And here's the last one. Joe works the week. Okay, so this one would be during. Joe works during the week, or Joe works during the day. The opposite would be Joe works at night, or Joe works on the weekends. Fantastic. So now those are all the prepositions. I've got a test of 3 sentences left, but before I give you that, here is the third and final secret code. It is Joe used to work at a hospital. Okay, that's the third secret code. Send me that in a message and I'll know that you've watched this and you are fantastic. Now here's 3 sentences. See if you can guess them and write your answers down below and I'll tell you if you're right. Here we go. Joe has been working a project about how to grow his hair back. Number 2, Joe used to work a guy from South America who was really good at dancing. And number 3, Joe works an actor in Hollywood. So that is why he looks so familiar. All right, so that's the end of the test. Try to write your answers down in the comments below for that little mini test, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. All right, if you want to keep watching another video and see a different shirt and beard and hear my voice again, me, then check out this link. All right, I'm going to put a link there and you can continue learning because that's the most important thing. Okay? And by the way, I love working as a teacher. See you later.